Welcome to Hormones and Handstands, a functional hormone nutritionist and a beauty editor and yoga teacher's guide to acing the challenges of midlife.
Hello, I'm Pippa Campbell and I'm a functional hormone nutritionist and founder of Pippa Campbell Health. I've been helping women for over 15 years with their hormonal imbalances and weight gain, and really just getting to that nitty gritty, the root cause of why they're suffering. Because I think that's the problem, is that women are getting the symptoms, but they don't really understand why. And look, I get it. I totally understand, because that was me in my teens and early 20s. I was suffering with hormonal imbalances. I had chronic, and I mean chronic. I suffered for 2 weeks of every cycle with chronic PMS. And this went on for years and years until I went to see a functional practitioner. And literally within months, I didn't have PMS anymore. So I really believe in getting to that root cause. And helping women is what I love doing. I love making women feel better, look better, and really understanding why they're suffering. So that really, I suppose, makes me the hormones bit of this podcast.
Hello, I'm Victoria Woodhall and I am the handstands part. I'm a beauty and wellness journalist, and for the past 20 years, I've also been a yoga teacher. And I came to yoga again through personal stress, anxiety, and chronic insomnia. And for me, yoga really was the magic bullet, and it's really helped me throughout my life. And I've really enjoyed helping other people discover this fantastic practice to feel strong and agile in your body and just to simply have a better day. I love a fun challenge, hence the handstands element. I do fall over a lot, but I think we're here to play and have a good time. And as a journalist, I sift through all the latest beauty and wellness trends. I try out loads of things, and it's my mission to find out what's really worth our time and money and what's simply hype. And really, it's all about having a better time on this planet, isn't it? Living stronger and longer.
Absolutely. And I think what I really want to do is explain why we're even doing this podcast to the
Yes,
listeners.
why are we even here?
Why are we doing it? You know why? This is why. Because Victoria and I want to make our private conversations public. Yeah, I mean it. Everything. All the weird and wonderful stuff we talk about. Because I would be messaging Victoria, well, quite a lot actually. So things that may seem simple to Victoria, but I didn't know what order to put all my skincare, like from serums to moisturizers, what to use in the morning, what to use in the evening, what's the latest SPF, things like that. But also things like, I mean, when I saw you on Instagram do that tissue box challenge, oh my goodness, I just had to do it. Can you quickly tell people about this tissue
Oh,
box
yeah.
challenge?
So the tissue box challenge is one of the fun challenges that I like to do. Sometimes I get them, sometimes I don't. But basically, you stand on one leg, you get a tissue box, and you lift one tissue. You make sure it pokes out of the tissue box, and the trick is to make it poke as high as you can, so you don't have to bend so low when you pick it up with your mouth. And the thing is, with these challenges, it's really just about not thinking about your to-do list for the 5 or 10 minutes you've been giving it a try, to have a to pick yourself up when you've fallen down and to maybe realize that you're stronger than you think.
It's brilliant, and it was great fun. So you did it on your story, and then I copied it doing on my story, but it was hilarious, literally. I just falling over, but it was so much fun. And then, the other thing just made me laugh as well. I've just suddenly remembered. Just thought was genius was when you were multitasking, as women do, and you put on your HRT and then you did your yoga, and you were sort of flapping around saying, "This is how you let your HRT dry."
Yeah. But actually, there was a tip in there because I don't put my HRT estrogen gel on my hands. I squirt it on the top of my arm, and then I use my arm on the inside of my leg, which I thought, well, this is practically a yoga pose, so that I didn't waste it on my hands, and also I didn't stroke my cat afterwards with.
Oh my goodness. Can you imagine if your cat then got estrogen symptoms?
Well, it can happen. And a friend did report to me that she'd taken her cat to the vet, and that was the issue. The cat was cuddling up in the crook of her arm where she put her HRT, and got pretty sick, but is thankfully fine now. So
Oh my goodness. Right, everyone listening, don't do that. Don't do that. And then Victoria, I mean, you're messaging me as well. Look, we're doing all of it.
Pippa, I am glued to your Instagram because it's so full of brilliant tips and education, especially about estrogen, which I know you're going to talk about
Yes.
shortly. And things like, you know, drinking coffee in the morning, maybe pause an hour. And I got that tip from you because you have a natural cortisol spike in the morning to get yourself out of bed. And do you want to be kind of adding extra cortisol stress through having a coffee? If you just wait an hour for your cortisol to rise naturally, then your coffee or your first caffeinated drink of the day adds less stress to your life. And that's what we're here for, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So we want to tell all of you listening all of our secrets. So we will have absolutely no bars on what we're talking about. We will be talking about fannies. It's very relevant, whether it's yoga, whether it's HRT, whatever it is, we are going to be telling you all about it. So we want this to be funny and also educational, because obviously we have expertise of many years working with clients, and you know, as a journalist, you know the science behind everything. So we're going to cut through all that noise for you. And one thing we promise is to keep it, well, to try keep it under 30 minutes, because no one has any time anymore. I don't mind if you listen to it on double speed either. Look, I talk quite fast, but you know, you can speed it up. So we promise to keep it educational, funny, keep it short, but most importantly, tell you all about our private conversations and
And to
make
answer
it
your questions as well, if there's something you want us to go and test and investigate, we're here for that.
absolutely.
Yeah, should we kick off with estrogen, Pippa? That kind of is the dominant female hormone, and it affects our lives from, from very young to kind of for life, really, in various ways.
Absolutely, and as you said, from very young to later on. So estrogen, look, it seems to be the one that women know most about. If you do know about hormones, women seem to understand estrogen a little bit more. But you know what's interesting about estrogen in midlife, and not a lot of people know this, is that actually our estrogen spikes and is even higher around the age of 40, 35, 40, than it has been in our reproductive years. So it's called perimenopause, is actually called like a second puberty, because estrogen goes really high and spiking. And you think, well, why does it do that? That's just like crazy, because your brain is shouting at the ovaries saying, honey, this is your last chance to have a baby. And that's like, come to push.
I've heard that called the last fling of the ovary, where it just
Yeah.
goes, come on, let's chuck everything at it.
Yeah, which is why twins can be quite common actually in perimenopause. But so from the age of 35, 40, what happens with estrogen? By the way, estrogen is the one which is dominant in the first half of our cycle. And then we ovulate, and then estrogen drops, can drop quite rapidly, and progesterone kind of takes over the scene. And I will be talking about progesterone in other episodes. And then you get a second little rise of estrogen. Now, what happens after the age of 35, 40 is that estrogen can go really high, but also fluctuate as well. So then you can get symptoms maybe you've never, ever had before, unless, like me, you're always estrogen dominant. Then you can get suddenly weight gain, sore boobs, heavy bleeding, painful periods, cysts, fibroids. I mean, migraines suddenly for the first time as well. There are so many symptoms involved with excess estrogen. So, estrogen dominance can be too much estrogen, okay, which is this high and spiking estrogen that I'm talking about. And then we also, which is a bit of a weird concept, we then have to detoxify our estrogen after.
So
So,
we have to get rid of it. We've got all the
yeah.
flooding around, but where does it go?
Yeah, well, and you get these same symptoms. So even if then, like in later perimenopause and certainly menopause, then your estrogen is sort of moderate. So it does fall, and then it becomes sort of like moderate. And you can still get these symptoms though. And like, I don't understand. How is that happening? Because even if you don't have too much estrogen, you have to then clear it through the liver. Look, it's just what we do. Everything we eat, breathe, touch, smell, including our own hormones, needs to be detoxified.
So once estrogen, just to clarify, we've used estrogen for all the things that we need it for.
Yes.
We have kind of waste estrogen that needs to be got rid of.
Yeah, and look, we do need estrogen. It's not just for reproduction, but estrogen helps with brain function, cardiovascular function. I mean, we have estrogen receptors all over the body. So too much estrogen, it could be brain fog. Too little estrogen could be brain fog, and all these fluctuations can lead us feeling, really all over the place. But we need it. It's also our energy. Women who either still cycling or remember what it was like cycling, you have more energy in the first half of your cycle, especially in that week running up to ovulation. You can lift more weights. You're just feeling good, feeling a little bit sexy even as well. And the thing is that after we've used it, it has to be detoxified mainly through the liver. So what happens is it goes through this phase one, and then it's a weird thing that happens. It's made more potent at this stage, and then it has to go through the next stage of detoxification in the liver. Then it's bound up mainly in bile, and then it goes to our intestines and out in our poo. That's the main. It can goes out in urine as well, but this is the main way that we detoxify. So it's quite a long journey, and we need to make sure that everything works properly.
Yeah, so your liver needs to be fully supported in at
Absolutely.
your digestive system, your gut, your elimination. And actually, Pippa, I've learnt from you that I take like a tablespoon of flax seeds in my smoothie every morning for this very purpose.
Yeah, ground flax seeds are fantastic because they contain lignans, which is a phytoestrogen. And again, sometimes women think, oh, does that mean I'm going to just have too much estrogen? No, phytoestrogens are brilliant. They're also found in soy, so soy isoflavones. And it's like an estrogen adaptogen. They work at receptor level. So the receptors will go, oh, there's too much estrogen coming in, sometimes like in perimenopause, and then it'll modulate that so you don't have too much estrogen symptoms. But equally in menopause as well, when you have lower estrogen symptoms, you might be getting the hot flashes, the vaginal dryness, etc. And then they work to help stimulate those receptors to help with those symptoms. So they are very, very clever. So a tablespoon of ground flax seeds or two, absolutely fantastic. And then you've got other foods that support the liver as well. I love for eating detoxification. I love cruciferous vegetables. Now, those are actually, they're all green. They're all the green leafy ones apart from cauliflower. I think cauliflower is probably the only one that's not green, but it's all the broccoli, pak choi, cabbage, rocket, watercress. So all those green leafy type ones, which is really easy to get on your plate. If you think your lunch could be, the base of it could be watercress or rocket, you're already doing something really great there. And then in the evening, it could be broccoli, cabbage, and that sort of thing. But there is a star of the show, and you know what I'm going to say, don't you?
Broccoli sprout.
Yeah, you've been listening.
No.
So broccoli sprouts are really, really potent because they are the sprouts. They're like the early young broccoli. And they are up to 40 times more potent in something called sulforaphane, which is a powerful detoxifier of estrogen. And just generally, it's very supportive of liver. Just generally, sulforaphane is a king for antioxidant.
And they're really easy to get hold of, aren't they? You can get them in the supermarket now in the basically in the salad aisle in the little boxes.
They seem to be. Maybe they've been listening to me on Instagram. No, I don't know. Because for many years, women would message me on Instagram saying, I can't get them, I can't find them. And you can get them on mail order as well. So there are certain mail order companies. However, I have to say that they are very easy to grow. Well, when I say really easy to grow, lots
For
of
people who are good at growing.
I don't have green fingers. Honestly, I ballsed up my my ones so badly. I thought I am not doing this again. And I can buy them really easily, but I can't grow anything. So that was just rubbish. But apparently I get these messages from women saying, "Oh, look at my lovely broccoli sprouts," and they're growing up here, and well done. But yeah, so if you have 2 tablespoons every day, I mean, really, it's not much. Even my children, my daughter, who's 22, and my son, nearly 21. So even they will eat it because he'll go, well, that's easy. I can just have 2 of those and I don't have to eat everything. So 2 tablespoons of broccoli sprouts every day. You can just put them on your salad. The cruciferous vegetables that I talked about, so those are all very good for your liver. Now, then we need to talk about bile because obviously, Victoria, I know you have a genetic issue, which means then your bile, doesn't flow quite in the way it should. And
Yes, I do. Yes, Gilbert syndrome is a benign liver condition. It can make you quite tired. And they estimate that something like 6% of the population have it. Most people don't know they have it. And it shows up as high bilirubin in a blood test that isn't caused by anything else. And both my children have it too. So it's very, very common. And in a way, just supporting your liver is, one of the best things you can do for it, as I've learned from you.
absolutely. But I just want to get in the fact, that people with Gilbert syndrome are supposed to live longer.
Oh, do they? Ooh.
Yeah, bilirubin is actually an antioxidant. However, as long as we support that bile flow. So then we've got the estrogen leaving the liver in bile. So that's why this is really important for for you, Victoria. And bile, to support bile, we have some really great vegetables. Again, I love the fact that we have some foods here to help us. And they're all the bitter foods. They stimulate bile. So again, the rocket and the watercress, endive, radishes, all those like bitter type foods. So then that supports the bile, and then we're into the gut. I love carrots and carrot fiber. Absolutely amazing for estrogen detoxification. Do not peel your carrots. This is then
Okay.
the big mistake. Just wash them, scrub them, because that powerful fiber is found in that skin. And then hopefully, and if you're not constipated, looking after your gut, then your estrogen has left the body, you've cleared it, and the whole cycle starts again. Either you make your own, or of course, HRT, you're helping detoxify your exogenous.
Yeah. So I need, even though I probably don't produce very much natural estrogen anymore, I'm on HRT and I need to detox the HRT as well, the estrogen in there. So just to recap, if anybody thinks, well, what can I do? Regardless of whether you've tested for any of this, we can all, to support our health and our estrogen and metabolism, we can eat broccoli sprouts, cruciferous veg, bitter greens for bile.
Bitter foods, radishes, yes.
Yeah, and carrots, never peel your
Yeah.
carrots. Um, and just supporting your gut and your liver.
And fiber, which we're supposed to anyway, eating all that fiber. Yeah, you've nailed it, Victoria.
There's one more thing before we move on to talking about skincare, um, is is also about not putting extra estrogens into your body from the environment, these fake estrogens that can kind of become forever chemicals. You talk a lot about that on Instagram.
Yeah, so fake estrogens, fancy word for that is xenoestrogens, fake estrogens. And, they're in an awful lot of things, but one of the biggest problems is the BP or BPA and S and F found in plastics. And this is a particular problem when plastics are heated. We can't avoid all plastics, but I think anything that you consume, something that is, food is stored in, for example, I would just avoid. So one easy thing is don't put plastic in the dishwasher or the microwave because, again, that's heated and it releases that BPA and the other chemicals. Then don't put oily foods in plastic. Again, they can leach into the food. Things like tin linings are lined in plastic. Okay, so again, try and avoid oily foods. Also, acidic foods like I know tin tomatoes. Try not eat too many of those. Try and go for more things like passata in a glass jar.
And you also, tuna is the kind of oily fish that we tend to have
Yeah,
in a tin, but if you have it with spring water,
better.
it's likely to leach, isn't it?
Apps then fine. No, absolutely fine. I mean, I don't eat a lot of tuna because of the high mercury content, but let's say sardines in spring water or brine. That's what you want to do, not the oil. Okay. And it doesn't matter if it's sunflower or olive oil, just avoid it in oil, or you can sometimes get it in a glass jar with oil. Another great easy thing that everyone can do is get lymph flowing because that's how we move the toxins like excess estrogen around the body. So things like whether it's body brushing or even that's an easy thing to do every day before your bath or shower, body brushing, but also, movement, like yoga. I mean, just movement is good.
Yeah, I mean, I have because I'm a journalist and that's my day job. Yoga is kind of around that. I spend a lot of time basically at my desk with only my brain moving at 100 miles an hour and my fingers, and the rest of my body just isn't joined up. So, you can get the kind of stagnation of everything, energy, fluid. It just feels like everything is stuck. So yoga at I used to teach actually when I worked on a national newspaper. I used to teach at lunchtimes in one of the meeting rooms. And honestly, the change when we all came back to the office in the team, we'd have brighter eyes, we'd have, more relaxed expressions, and people would wonder if we'd been to the pub.
No way. What kind of yoga were you teaching?
I was teaching the style that I teach now is a dynamic vinyasa flow. It's actually called um, rocket yoga, but I also teach another style called yoga nidra, which is the complete opposite. So it's completely lying down. It's a guided relaxation, and I think that it means yoga sleep, and 20 minutes of yoga nidra is said to be equivalent to 2 hours sleep. And there's a long time insomnia and somebody who struggles to switch off their thoughts. That's been a real game changer for me, and I teach that as well. And I do think, as our nervous systems get more and more overloaded, we are going to need to rely on practices like this even more. And I love the way neuroscience is now taking on practices like yoga nidra. I mean, you and I both listen to the Huberman podcast.
Yeah.
Neuroscientist Andrew Huberman has very much taken up the yoga nidra
Yeah,
battle.
he's a fan of yoga.
Yeah, yeah, and he has these practices called NSDR, non-sleep deep rest, which is a kind of sort of family of practices to give you this kind of nervous system recovery during the day. Yoga Nidra is one of them. I think meditation and napping, not meditation. Yes, I think it is.
Yeah, probably internet meditation. So
Yes.
you don't have to do this then even closer to bedtime. It could be something that you have an hour, in the space of work, middle of the day, and you could just go and do a little bit of yoga nidra, and that could just reset you then.
Yeah, so yoga nidra I would not do at bedtime unless it's a specific
Okay.
practice geared towards getting you to sleep. Because remember, this we are restoring you. It's like having a cup of coffee. You know, when you have a cup of coffee, as you taught me, you're basically switching off the receptors that tell you you're tired.
Yeah.
Whereas when we do a meditation or restorative yoga nidra practice, you are leaning into your tiredness, but topping up your energy bank. So you actually have more energy rather than just forgetting you didn't have any because you've had coffee.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
see.
so yoga nidra might leave you a little bit activated. So I do it in the evenings, but not right before bed. But you know, during the day, for example, I will turn to some yoga stretches. You were talking about lymph and how important that is for estrogen
Mm.
detox. I mean, there's so many ways of just moving, just simply getting up and moving and doing some yoga stretches and getting our feet higher than our head. I know it
Oh, I
sounds
never do that.
it's if you think about it, your lymph doesn't have a pump, so it needs you to pump it. And if all your energy and your is pooling around your legs, imagine if you're on a long flight and how kind of swollen everything feels. If you're at your desk, it can be similar. So really, all I always say is
Yeah, can you show me? Because
that,
I'd
yeah,
like to know how I can do
if
it.
if you're just listening on audio, I'm lying on my back.
Yeah.
I'm on my yoga mat here. I'm literally just putting my legs in the air, circling my ankles and my wrists. I'm going to do this with my legs a bit lower just so you can
Oh,
see.
that's all you need to do is just line your back, get your legs higher.
So, yeah, and then imagine my legs are in the air. Shake it out like you're trying to shake off your gloves and socks. So shake, 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 and that really kind of gets the energy back into the bits that have fallen asleep. And I'll tell you a really great stretch. What we also say is get your head below your heart because you know if you're at your desk like me, you can be very head dominant. You know, we're on our phones, we're in our heads the whole time, and we're like
I need
walking.
to ask you actually in another episode about my neck, but we'll carry on with this. Yes, I need help.
Yeah, so a stretch that everyone can do is ragdoll against the wall. So, and if you're just listening on audio, you can pop over to our Instagram, Hormones and Handstands, and I'll demonstrate the stretch for you. But basically, so you're going to a wall
Oh, there she
and
goes.
I'm at ease. Hello, thing, leaning against the wall with my upper back, and then I'm just grabbing my elbows. And I'm leaning into the support of the wall. So I feel really supported by hamstring stretch. Everybody, for some reason, wants to be able to touch their toes. This is a really good way. And the feeling of just taking the weight off the mind like this, and my head is dangling down. I'm just letting my arms go. Oh, my jaw is
I'm gonna
soft.
try that.
It's really hard to clench your jaw when you're upside down. So, you can just hang like this and have a desk break like that. Oh,
I could even try that after this episode. I might go and do that. I could try that just straight off, can I?
yeah. So I think, yes, absolutely you can. You don't need any warm up or anything. So, I mean,
But you could do that. You could even do that. Okay, look, you've got your tight leggings on and you're flashing your bottom and your fanny. But if you're in work, depending on what you're wearing, you could potentially go somewhere and do a little over you go.
you could do it against the toilet door.
Okay, as long as no one. Oh yeah, inside the cubicle thing.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
clever.
Luckily, where I work on a beauty and wellness website called Get the Gloss, we're always doing mad things and coming in with various kinds of, we've had a peel or we've had some kind of
Yeah, who cares?
treatment, and we're always coming in with kind of red faces or, weird
Okay.
things attached to us.
This is our call to action for all of us, all of you listening. I'm going to do it. Okay, I'm going to go away and do it after this one. What's it called against the wall ragdoll? No,
It's ragdoll against the wall.
ragdoll against the wall.
Yes,
Okay, we're
so
going
you're
to do
kind of
that.
thinking softening, letting go, taking the weight off the mind, but it's also a beautiful stretch for the backs of your legs. And, you know, if you think about it, you've just been in your head all the time, you're putting mind back in your body. And yoga, one of the translations of yoga is union. And I like to think of it just feeling more joined up again, you know,
I like that.
restoring the balance of mind and body. And that's just a really easy thing
That's
anyone.
it. That's our call to action. I'm going to do that. But you mentioned about your get the gloss. I mean, obviously you're a beauty editor, and that's actually that's a lot of the messages I'm sending you is of what should which serum should I use? Which order do I do this? What do I need now? You know, I'm 52. I'm 52. I was 52 this week. So yeah. So can you what are the most? I know what I ask you, but what do people mainly ask you about?
People often opt LED masks and collagen, which we'll talk about in future episodes. They're kind of like, which LED mask shall I buy? Should I buy one? It's a big question and a great question, and we'll come to that in a future episode. So, in terms of skincare, there's still so much. In fact, there's more confusion than ever because there's so many ingredient-led products, peptides, hyaluronic acid, niacinamide,
Oh my God, you've lost me already.
vitamin C, azelaic acid, PHA, BHA, AHA. Honestly, you need a degree in biochemistry almost to understand.
Exactly, that's why I'm always messaging you. I have no idea. And then do you know what happens? I would sort of get so before, you know, obviously I met you, I'd get so overwhelmed that then I would pare my skincare down to literally nothing, and then I wasn't using anything active.
Well, that's probably better than doing the opposite and piling things on because dermatologists are seeing a rise in things like perioral dermatitis,
Yes.
reacted skins by people just thinking, oh, this I've seen this on TikTok. This is the latest. Going to
Skin
pile
junkies.
it on, and it's actually less is better than more. But the basics are, I would say, 5 things. So obviously, you clean your face, not with a water wipe, not with any kind of wipe, with flannel and some cleanser. So it can be a
Even in
phone.
the morning.
I don't bother in the morning because I
No, I
don't.
don't either. I'm so glad you said that.
And I asked the dermatologist, Dr. Sam Bunting, should you clean in the morning? Because obviously it costs money to have cleanse
And
twice a day.
how dirty is our
Yeah,
skin?
exactly. Well, I always shower and wash before bed anyway. So, but and it's a complete myth that your skin releases toxins overnight. This is what she told me. But you may be sweaty in the night if you've got oily skin or if you've had a hot
Or you're
sweat.
in menopause.
Exactly. You might have some sweat and maybe even things from your hair. If your hair has got in your face and you've been in a polluted environment and your hair's got stuff on it, you just have to take a view. Do I think I've got stuff on my skin that I need to wash off? If yes, you can give yourself a kind of very gentle cleanse in the morning. Or I just use a splash of water and then pat with a clean flannel. So, that's in the morning. In the evening, I will have used sun cream every day, even in winter, and sun cream is designed to create a barrier, especially if you use a mineral sunscreen, which I know if you prefer more natural solutions, I know you prefer that. It's designed to sit on the skin, so you do need quite a thorough cleanse, like, spend a good minute massaging in your cleanser, don't just slap it on,
Oh
slap it
God, a
off.
minute. And is this double cleansing thing a myth? Is that rubbish?
Depends what you've got on your skin.
Right.
It really does. If you've got a load of makeup, a load of SPF, if you've had a sweaty day,
Mm.
you put powder on, the more you've piled on, the kind of chances are you've got to clean off. So you take a view. What's my day been like? I don't use cotton pads. I haven't used cotton pads for years because of the environmental waste. So I just use muslin cloth. And then I also work it in with my fingers. So, and sometimes I will use slightly more of an exfoliating cleanser, like once or twice a week, just to get a deeper cleanse. Cleanse everything that you've got off, but I would say maybe spend more time on your cleanse than stress about doing a double cleanse. So you do one
Okay,
really.
good. Double cleansing is so boring and I just don't get it. I think I tried it once and I was like, this is really boring.
Yeah, exactly. And you'd use a balm, a cream, a foaming cleanser, but use one of those ones with a mechanical pump, not a aerosol uh, pump.
Yes.
Less chemicals. My favorite type is a cream cleanser. It's halfway between an oil and a gel cleanser because I've got dry skin and I know I can kind of mush it into my eyes, get everything off. Um, and it feels nice. You want your skin to feel nice and soft after a cleanse. It
Oh,
shouldn't
I know. I
feel
love that.
icky. It should feel just clean and soft. Then in the morning, if you want a serum, the next thing that goes on is your vitamin C or antioxidant serum. That will protect you against environmental stresses. Vitamin C helps with brightening. And there are lots of really great vitamin Cs out there, and you want between about 10 and 20%. to have a really good
Right, so just like vitamin C is a good one to take as a supplement, vitamin C on our face is doing that antioxidant protection as well. Okay.
Exactly, exactly, and actually in summer, it can boost the baseline of sun protection as well. I mean, you should never use it as an SPF in itself, but I think it's said that it gives you a few more kind of SPF points if you wear
I
that
didn't
sort
know
of
that. That's
mix.
great.
Yeah, so vitamin C in the summer. Um, and then just a really good moisturizer. I don't think you need anything fancy, but just something that keeps your skin hydrated and stops it losing moisture throughout the day. So if you think about it, our skin is produces oil and water, sort of sebum and sweat, if you like. So that is basically our skin barrier. So a moisturizer that has things like ceramides in and maybe some hydrating things like hyaluronic acid, stick that on over your serum and then put your sun cream on over the top.
Any brands particularly for a moisturizer that you like?
Oh gosh, I mean, I tend to use quite basic ones, to be honest. I mean, I like Curel. It's a kind of Korean um, skincare with a focus on sort of mature skins. It's about kind of 20 quid a pot. It's really
That's
affordable.
not
The
bad.
textures, because it's Korean, they're really good on these lovely light textures. So, but there are some great moisturizers out there. I like the Balance Me Peptide Cloud. I think it's called Cloud Cream. That's a really nice one for midlife women who've got, um, all sorts of different skin issues, whether it's breakouts, dryness here, oiliness there. So that's a really good one
Good for
for.
this midlife when your skin can be going a little bit bananas, and some of these testosterone, which I'm going to be talking about in another one, this testosterone dominance, even though testosterone might be declining. But
Testosterone, yes, can't wait to put that because I do take it myself. I didn't get on with it to start with. Now I do, but I'm looking forward to hearing more about why that might be. Um, and then, so we talked about you stick a moisturizer on and then your sun cream over the top. I like a sun cream to be a sun cream, so I don't mix it with have a SPF moisturizer. I don't have an SPF foundation, although those are nice to have as extras because I know that I'm putting on enough if I've got an SPF uh, by itself because I use 2 stripes down my fingers to make sure I'm getting enough. So face and neck, so 2 that's the 2-finger thing.
that's more than I
So
thought.
basically, if you would, squirt your sun cream along your index and middle finger, covering the inside of both fingers, and that's the amount that you need. Because generally people don't put on enough. Um, and then in the evening, you would use a retinoid, and that is a renewing, collagen stimulating vitamin A derivative. And I like Medicate because they have a ladder system where you can build up. I mean, you do have to build up your retinoid tolerance, and some people's skins is more sensitive than
So
others.
it can
And
go
so,
pretty dry and flaky. I had that.
yeah, so you just start slow. You start like once or twice a week, and then you build up. And if you can't use a retinol for or retinoid for any reason, I mean, some people with rosacea find it a bit
I
much.
have a bit of rosacea. I'm using a retinol. It's fine, but it's a low retinol. But I only have very
Yeah,
mild
I mean,
rosacea.
there's a new brand that's come over to the UK now called Sensilis. It's Spanish. I went to the labs in Spain to see how they made it, and it is specifically for sensitized and sensitive skin. So sensitized being when you put on too much stuff, or you've had
Yeah,
or you've had a treatment and it's extra sensitive, or sensitive because that's its type, or you have rosacea. Um, but yes, they make retinoid skincare specifically for sensitive skin. So that would be something for
give
you
that
to
a try.
it's sensitive and it's quite affordable. Um, but you could also try an ingredient called bakuchiol, which is a what they call an alt retinol. It's a plant-based retinol. It acts like retinol, but with none of the sensitivity. And you can use it in the day and the night because ret- retinol is better, or retinoids are best used at night. And they are a natural exfoliant. They increase the turnover of your skin, which is why you sometimes get this kind of
I
flaking.
got it now. I now know what to do. I've got it. I'm so pleased. I'm going to go away and write it down after we finished. All
Well,
right.
we can put it in the notes as well. So,
Yes.
um, yeah, and then the same moisturizer on at night. If you want a little bit of extra, you can just dot in a couple of drops of face oil. But you don't need to be too complicated with your skincare routine. There are things like, I mean, Peptide serums are great and they all do different things. They're mostly kind of age proofing, sort of really ramping up the collagen. Some are for hydration. And there are also things like growth factors. Again, they sort of do the same. Um, but I think if you just want a kind of minimal basic routine, those are the things that you need in that order.
And I think, you know what, because we're running out of time now, I do want to ask you about these other things in future episodes, though, because I think I want to know about a mask. I mean, now you've told me all the routine that I need to do every day. I'm interested to know how many times a week to do a mask, what kind of mask, and then these other treatments. So we've got plenty of time. And this is us rabbiting. We've got plenty of time.
Oh, you message me. You message me
Yes,
during
I'm
the
actually
week.
so well, we could talk about it here, can't we? So, Victoria, now that we're making our private conversations public to everyone, we are wrapping up our first episode, and I hope everyone's enjoyed it. However, I want to know because I know what I'm going to go and do after we wrap this up. I'm going to go and do the ragdoll. What's it called again?
The ragdoll stretch against the
Yeah.
wall.
So I'm going to go and do the ragdoll stretch against the wall. What are you up to?
So today I am researching LED for hair growth because hair growth and hair thinning is something I write about and talk about on Instagram a lot because I've experienced it and I've managed to make my hair grow thicker and I can definitely fill you in on all my secrets. But there's loads of LED masks now for hair. So I've been testing a few of these. This is one and this is genius. Look, it's the higher dose that I'm putting on a baseball cap lined with red LEDs. And so if I went out in the street, nobody would know that I'm actually doing my kind of hair growth treatment. It says higher dose on it. Um, yeah, so I'm kind of wearing my baseball cap and
So
doing
that's what you're up to.
yes, I'm doing that.
Okay, good. Anything else you got? I've got to I'm developing a new formula for one of my supplements. You're going to hate me for this. So
What is it?
I know so basically I am reformulating my super greens and it's going to be super greens for women and I'm packing in a lot more stuff. So including I shouldn't say this cruciferous vegetable blend.
Oh, well, that's good then.
Some of my days spent formulating new supplements. So watch this space. That's going to be out soon on my supplements page on my website. Anything else you're up to?
Yes, well, I've been testing, I test a lot of tweakments. So polynucleotides, a big buzzword currently in the tweakments space. I've had them in my hair. So these are like a it's called the salmon sperm facial. You might have seen it
Yeah,
called
I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
Kardashian sort of made it famous. It's not made of salmon sperm. It is,
Oh.
we'll explain in another episode what exactly it is. But people are sticking polynucleotides everywhere. I've had them in my hair. I've had them in my under eyes. They are brilliant for under eyes. There's not
What's
much.
it do though when you say under eyes? What's it do?
Well, it's basically you are adding uh, growth, collagen stimulating ingredients into your skin. It's like a peptide. You're stimulating your
Wow.
skin to behave in a way that it did, say, 10 years ago.
Is it painful?
It is painful, but you have numbing cream. But you can also now have them in the lips, in the neck,
What?
the arms, I think everywhere.
How long
So
does it last?
it lasts, you have to go about every 8 months and have 2 or 3 treatments. So it can get a little bit pricey, but it is an option for people who want a little bit of tweakment help, but perhaps don't want filler. This is the category known as biostimulator, so stimulating your own collagen, so growing your own filler.
Wow. I
Actually, so
need to get
growing
to
your
look
own
into
results. So
this.
we can talk about all of the biostimulators. They're hugely popular, and I do think they're very good.
I'd love to talk to you about this in future episodes, like, you know, what you think I could get done. I'm really not very good with pain, but anyway, we'll talk about that. So that's what we are up to after this episode.
Oh, Pippa, I need to go and do some. I need to go and have a little yoga nidra now. After all of that, a little bit of a lie down.
Victoria, thank you so much. You're a fountain of knowledge. I've learnt so much, and I will be messaging you again.
Well, thanks, Pippa. I can't wait to hear all about progesterone, testosterone, all these great hormones we've got to discuss in future episodes. And thanks, everyone, for listening.
Bye. If you enjoyed this episode of Hormones and Handstands, don't forget to follow or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And if you love this episode, please do leave us a review. You can also find us on Instagram at Hormones and Handstands for behind the scenes content, sneak peeks, and to let us know what you want to hear more about. See you for another one next week.